Teamwork makes the dream work, and squad matches in Fortnite really put that statement to the test. Hi, I'm Darrian P. Mack with the Leaderboard, and just as we did with solo players, we're going to talk about the squad mates you meet in a Fortnite match. Make sure to subscribe and then click that bell icon to become part of our notification squad. Fortnite is more than just another battle royale game. At this point, it is the battle royale game. And as any Fortnite player knows, solo matches aren't the only thing out there. We've got squad matches as well, which sounds great until you actually have to interact with other gamers because, let's face it, there are so many players we wish we didn't squad up with, and no player makes that more obvious than the kind we love to hate on, the deadweight. Is their controller working? Hello? These players contribute like nothing during a match, and soon your quartet will start to feel like a trio. You'd probably find a volleyball with a face on it perform as a better squad mate than this guy. This player must be new. But that doesn't mean anyone new to the game is automatically a deadweight. Instead, they are considered the little sibling. These players will follow you around trying to learn how to play the game just like a dedicated little duckling. They are, to be completely honest, kind of adorable in that, oh, they've imprinted on me kind of way. They aren't brave enough to go out alone in the world, guns blazing, so they rely on your guidance and protection and skills. Hell, they probably haven't even touched solo mode yet, and you know what? That's fine. Every Fortnite player has to start somewhere, and what better place than under your wing? You can take that little sibling and turn them into a proper Fortnite player, making them an asset in training on the field. While the little sibling is a follower, there are those self-proclaimed leaders of the pack. These players are known as the commander or shot callers. This player's intention is to guide the team to victory under their flag no matter what, and their own game skills notwithstanding. Sometimes the commander will, in fact, lead you to a glorious or not so glorious death. They charge straight in and take command, and everybody else be damned. The moment that the party bus appears on screen, they'll be first to speak, often picking and choosing where the drop point should be, which can mean a whole lot of trouble if they're not very good at the game. But if your squad does manage to make it off the bus onto the ground and into combat, despite any deadweight, confused commanders or baby ducklings, you might have a use for this next squad mate. In fact, you can absolutely take the detrimental squad mate and make them work for you. Yes, we mean using them as bait. Examples: hey, check out that house first because you heard some building going on and there might be a trap. Package inbound at 352 degrees. Let them touch the loot before anyone else, just in case a sniper is watching from a distance. I mean, if they're gonna be dropping like flies, you might as well make them work for you. Hey, listen, I'm not losing my 100 shield and 100 health, which brings us to our next squad mate. It's always a good idea to bring a medic along if you're going to be breaking out the cannon fodder, especially if you have some useful bait you want to keep around. Medics are great to have on hand because they will always be there for you. They have your back in the very best way. Maybe you were the bait unbeknownst to you and you find yourself crawling on the ground. You'll feel the gentle pat on your back being revived by your favorite squad mate. And look, they even dropped bandages and they built me a cozy campfire. Medics will heal the squad and pick up any fallen squad mate, making them the absolute best person to have on your squad, period. As any veteran MMO player will tell you, love your healers because you'll die without them. That's looking at you, Nikki. While Fortnite might have its own form of healers, the game doesn't exactly have tanks. You do, however, have the Guardian Angels. They're not massive meat shields who stand between you and the forces of hell, but they will make sure to keep an eye out for you. Guardians have your back just like medics do, but their version of protection is to make sure they take out whatever is running up behind you. More traditional Guardian Angels will take the Destiny approach and manage to keep you safe with a sniper rifle and a good camping spot. The best way to spot a Guardian Angel is by looking behind you because that's where they'll be. They might also steal some of your kills, but that's okay because they ultimately have your best interest at heart. But the Guardian Angels and medics aren't the only players looking out for you. When you were new to Fortnite, you might have come across these guys. You might even be one now yourself. As the counterpoint to the little siblings, we have the charity givers. These players love to help out their squad by giving them that good gear. They'll share items out of their own pockets or give you the first crack at a loot box, all because they know you need the gear more than they do. They'll be the ones crouching up and down, jumping, showing and pointing out that loot that you need. And of course, this is all happening without a mic. The complete opposite of the charity giver is the green-eyed, greedy gamers. Greed players will step over anyone as long as it gets them to the loot first. These players live by the tenet, more is better, and will do whatever it takes to hog all the items, even if they aren't good with any of the ones that they grabbed. If you need some supplies and they've got them, they will not be sharing. If they find a chest, don't expect a shout out because they are absolutely taking all the loot for themselves, and if you aren't around to know about it, all the better. Greedy players would sell their own mamas if it got them more Fortnite loot. If you have your eyes set on a chest, you better look left or right because chances are one of your squad mates is dead set on grabbing that loot before you do. They might even come from underneath the floor or build a staircase over you. While greedy players plague every single multiplayer game that includes shared loot boxes, they aren't the most frustrating squad mates. After all, even the deadweight, the bait, and little siblings know how to stick with their squad. The truly annoying squad mates are still jumping off of the bus because they don't like to follow the rules. One of the most common disruptive squad mates are the lone wanderers. These guys like to wander away from the pack, don't follow the group when jumping off the bus, and don't like to communicate. Now these guys can occasionally be helpful, which makes them the best of the worst. If they're good players, they can do a whole lot to help the squad, even on the opposite side of the map. But if they're bad, they're just another form of dead weight. Dead weight you can ignore, thankfully, but still dead weight nonetheless. Good lone wanderers understand the game and want to have fun, but hate to get saddled with bad squad mates, so they avoid all that and go as far away from the squad as they can with their own agenda. If they figure out you aren't a bad squad, they might start to call out loot boxes and turn into a totally different type of squad mate, but chances are they'll probably keep to themselves during the match. But good lone wanderers can still help you rack up kills and get your squad to a victory royale. Or maybe they just forgot to click no fill. Now, some lone wanderers can be bloodthirsty maniacs. They enter a match for one reason only, to rack up as many kills as they can within the timeline, which either means they're stealing everyone's kills or wandering off to go find other players to take out. They don't care about keeping the squad alive, they won't share loot, and they sure as hell won't communicate. But that's because they don't care about any of it. They care about one thing and one thing only: death. These players want to bathe in the blood of their enemies, and while Fortnite is a bit too cartoonish for that level of gore, you can't help but admit there are players like this in every multiplayer game, so naturally, Fortnite is no exception. Now, if you've got one of these guys in your squad, you can still win. They might single-handedly win the match for your whole team by sheer force. These players are so dedicated to killing everyone else, you might as well let their murderous rampage make your life a little bit easier. First stop, Tilted Towers. Having your own personal Mad Titan is great, but not every disruptive player is Thanos. No, the most disruptive players are the agents of chaos. Every game has them, they love to cause mayhem, and sometimes they can even be funny. Mostly these trolls find themselves more hilarious than anyone else ever does, but that's okay. These guys are great when they're on another team, but they're your worst enemy if they're on yours. They'll build walls to block the squad's path while desperately trying to run to the next safe zone. And you know, they're equipped with impulse grenades to stir things up and rile up your squad. They might go around smashing cars, intentionally making noise, alerting your enemies to your location, or they might shoot the enemy when they're told not to. Adrian. Trolls on Fortnite are unavoidable, and oftentimes they'll get you killed, which usually doesn't go over well with the commanders, medics, and guardian angels. Sure, they might be annoying, but if they're pestering your other squad mates instead of you might get a few laughs out of it. If you've learned one thing from this video at all, it should be that squads are only as good as the people in them. And unlike some other games, there isn't only one way to make a squad. Get matching biker jackets, take group Instagrams, break out the hashtag squad goals memes, put a ring on it, whatever it takes, because in Fortnite, your squad is everything. Comment down below and let us know if there are any squad types that we missed. This has been Darrian P. Mack with the Leaderboard, and this was every squad mate you meet in a Fortnite match. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to Leaderboard, your home for video game facts.